Today we're going to do a very simple, basic e-wrapping baby hat. Very, very simple, very, very beginner friendly. This is what I started doing when I started loom knitting. And this yarn that I'm pointing to is a number 5 yarn. You would need just one if you're working with a number 5. Just a basic e-wrap. And now I'm pointing to the tools you need. You need a hook, a row counter. You will need a tape measure. That's very optional. You will need a pair of scissors, and you will need the loom, of course. And you will need a tapestry needle to weave in your ends, or a crochet hook. And you will also need yarn. This is a number 4 type of yarn. You would need 2 strands, so I use the inside and the outside, and that is MainStays yarn. And like I said, we're going to get started, and we'll use your anchor pad. You will wrap it around one at a time. When doing this, you do not count your first row as a row. I count that as my foundation. And as I said, you will need 2 strands. So that is the size number 4, and that is a MainStays yarn. And I did do a review on the yarn, and I will leave the review for that, the description, the link for the video. I do not start right across. I do start next to it, and I wrap each peg one at a time. I never go all the way around. Like I said, at this point, I'm just going all the way around one at a time. And again, I do not count this as my official row. I count this as my foundation. So at this point, I have not started clicking on the row counter yet. I won't do that until I go all the way around individually. So I'm going to turn the music back on, and I will let you finish watching. Loom, they don't make these anymore. It's very rare to find, but I do recommend others. Hobby Lobby has good looms. Michael's has good looms. Joann's has some good looms. KB looms, if you're looking for those. I can leave the link for the best and the worst looms down in the description as well. But yeah, those are some good looms, and as you can see, I'm still going around individually, making sure I'm taking the yarn with me, and we are still going. between the last peg and the first peg. We're just going to connect those. The anchor peg, you do not necessarily have to keep that on. I'll go ahead and take mine off. It does not matter to me, my personal preference, and I'm just going to keep e-wrapping, and I'm going to connect those, and I'm just going to pull from the anchor peg, that's yarn that is hanging from the bottom, just because it does get a little loose if you take it off right at the beginning like I did, but it all works the same. So like I said, that's the loom so far and how that works. So now you're going to take some more of your yarn away from the skein, and now you're going to reset the row counter. So you're just going to reset it and make sure that it says 0. Make sure that it says 0. Now, normally people wrap their yarn all the way around. I do not recommend this at all. Just do 4 or 5 pegs at a time. 4 or 5 again. Wrapping all the way around is a no-no. Unless you just want your things to be laddered. And because I already done that first one, I'm going to hit my row counter and count that as a row. And every time that I come to that peg, I'm going to count that as a row. So every time that I go around, I'm counting that one as a row. So now you see me wrapping 4 at a time, and that's how I hold my yarn. Is I bring it under the loom, and I have my middle finger and my thumb holding it from under, and I'm just going to knit it off. And again, this is what works for me. However it works for you to hold your yarn is your business and your personal preference. And I use my hook to press the yarn down. I never use my fingers because that's how you get your fingertips to hurt, and it becomes painful to loom. Again, I'm showing you using my middle finger and my thumb to hold it, and how I'm holding it under it. So this is how I do it. Personal preference. Again, like I said, I use just 4 or 5 at a time, and this does not have that laddering effect. So I'm going to turn the music back on, and I am going to come back. Okay, so now we're back. We have done 20 rows so far, so I'm just showing you on the row counter where it says 20 because I have done 20. Now I'm just going to finish that 20 right now. And again, I'm just doing my simple wrapping a couple at a time, and just knitting that over and pushing it down as I go. Just keep knitting over and pushing down as you go. And I guess I will go ahead and say this: I do not recommend board looms. So if you are using board looms, please go take them back. Go get your money back, because they are trash. Yeah. And if you have not subscribed already, please go ahead and subscribe. Please turn your notifications on. We are almost at 500 subscribers. So we are doing well. We could do better. But yes, just subscribe and comment down below if you like the video, and keep on rocking with me. And again, I am still doing them in clumps of a couple of trying to finish them. I'm still doing the e-wrapping. And pushing them down as I go, and make sure that working yarn is accessible to pull. That way it does not get tangled. You don't have to really struggle a lot. Again, like I said, this is 20 rows for my brim that I do. You don't necessarily have to use 20. You can even use 15. For some reason, I just like my brims a little bit thicker, because to me that works as a double purpose. It could work as a ear warmer. So now I'm getting the tape measure out, and I'm just measuring with it not being folded, and I'm measuring from the top, from the end of it all the way down to the loom. Normally I do about a good 8 inches. Right now it's showing about 7.5. So I have a couple, or I could just stop right here. But 20 is a good number. So now I'm just holding it up, and I'm just the opposite end that it was. So now I'm just going to fold the brim. You can either do it with your hands or the hook. Each peg should have a loop on top of it, so you should have 4 on each peg, 2 at the top, 2 at the bottom. Like I said, you should have the same number that you started with. It's the same number that you should end with, and each loop should go on there with no problems. Like I said, you can use your hand or your you can use your hand or the hook, and each loop should have its own peg. So as you see, I am just nicely putting them back on, and yes, I will do this for the whole way around the loom, and you will see me then. I will knit it off. There are 2 ways that you can hide that working yarn. You can either put it inside with the inside of it, inside of the brim, or you can weave it in some kind of way, whichever one works out best for you. And I'm getting close to the end, so now I'm showing you where you can do it at the end, or you can do it right now. As you see, I just took a couple down, and I'm going to put that working yarn that is hanging inside of the hat on the brim, and I'm going to put my loops back on top of the pegs, and that should fit on there with no problems. And like I said, I'm just making sure that's snug and making sure that that is not extremely loose. And that is how my brim looks. Right now I'm just showing you how it looks, and this is how yours should look. You should have 2 at the top, 2 at the bottom. And I'm showing where you have 2 at the top and 2 at the top and 2 at the bottom. And that first one will always look like that, and you're just going to pull that yarn, and I'm just again showing. So I'm going to turn the music back on and enjoy. Okay, now I'm just showing you the brim, and the brim is done, and this is what the brim looks like. Just giving you a close-up and kind of like all the way around. So now you're going to reset your row counter over. Now I'm hitting the reset button, and I'm going to hit the button to to count for just one row, because now I'm starting the body of the hat now. And again, we're just doing a couple at a time, and we're just going to do the knitting over all the way around, a couple at a time. And every time that I come back to that peg, I'm going to hit the row counter. So you can do it however you want to. Right now I'm just showing you that that's where I'm going to count it as one row when I come back to that. So now we are at 10 rows for the body of the hat, and I'm just trying to get it to where you can see. So we're at 10 rows, like I said before, that I'm showing you the brim, and that is the body of the hat. I'm going to measure the green hat that I did, and you have to take into account that that green hat is a Lion brand type of yarn, so that's a number 5, so it is a different type of yarn. That hat is showing 6. I say 6. It may be 7 just because I have already taken it in to put the pom-pom in. But now I'm just going to measure this hat, and starting at right before the brim and all the way into the peg, and we're at 3.5, so we still have 6 inches to go. And again, I'm just showing you how that I'm going to wrap the first peg and hit the row counter, and now we're at 11.